One thing we haven't seen yet is some of the big Americans, Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson.
I want him, and I send message now from you to Haymon. Let's do job, brother. But Haney, I want to see Haney in my country, and I send message from you now to him. I will try to do it in 24. And David, of course, we want him in my country.
Maybe them two against each other.
I don't have the magic. I have something more powerful than the magic. Behind me, there is two big mountains. You cannot see the end of the mountain. The king and the crown prince support what we are doing. We cannot do this without their support.
And Tim, stop talking about the 20 million and all that. That doesn't. Let's just go to the table and talk.
Take 20 minutes. Okay.
No, Tank didn't want the 20.
Oh, he want 20?
No, he want the 20. But that was the start.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you?
That was just the start, though.
You was gonna start with 20?
Yeah, you know we couldn't. Man, come on, man. We had to give him the one number.
So y'all sent him a contract, 20 million.
Well, you said the 20, and then so he can come back and say the 40 or something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I mean? But he ain't want none of that. He ain't come back and say shit. And didn't put nothing on the table for us. Still to this day,
So Tank teams never gave you an offer?
Never. Not one time.
No PBC, no
Not once.
Mayweather Promotions, not
once.
They're not going to.
How you know?
Because he's not in the plan.
What's the plan?
It's not Devin Haney.
At the end of the day, it all roads leads to each other.
You guys heard it from His Excellency Turkey Sheikh. He confirmed the one fight he wants to make is Gervonta versus Devin Haney, and he wants to have Devin Haney fight in Saudi Arabia. That he will do in 2024. God willing, obviously. Now, I reported yesterday that Bill Haney came out revealing Gervonta could have had made up to $40 million guaranteed against Devin Haney, plus pay-per-view. So Tank can walk away with, after the pay-per-view fight against Devin Haney, from $50 million to $100 million. That's the offer they had for him on the table. However, Gervonta refused to negotiate. Now, a lot of you guys were questioning Bill Haney, talking about, where is Bill Haney getting this money from? He's capping this, that, and the third. And I told you guys, Bill Haney is getting it from Saudi Arabia. Duh. He was just over there with Devin Haney. You think Devin was just there on a vacation or handling business? Well, the answer is both. However, you can go back and read the comments on that video. I'm going to leave a link for that video in the comment section below. A lot of Gervonta fans were saying Saudi Arabia is only interested in hosting heavyweight fights. So Bill Haney is capping about that $40 million plus pay-per-view. Well, the Prince himself, he came out to debunk Gervonta fans' excuses that don't want to see the best fight the best. As you guys heard His Excellency Sheikh Turkey say, one of his goals in 2024 is to host Gervonta versus Devin Haney fight in Saudi Arabia, and he even sent Al Haymon a message telling Al Haymon he would love to work with him in order to make the fight. He also added he's going to have Devin Haney fight in Saudi Arabia with Gervonta or without Gervonta. Therefore, now that you guys got the confirmation from the Prince himself regarding Devin Haney sending Gervonta Davis an offer, we all know now Bill Haney was telling the whole absolute truth. Due to that, the $1 million question is, what is Gervonta Davis' next move going to be? Is he going to stay quiet, ignoring Devin Haney calling him out and offering him the biggest payday of his career by far? Or is he going to instruct Al Haymon to make the Devin Haney fight? There's a misconception. Just because Devin Haney is the one who went to get the money from Saudi Arabia, the fight has to happen on DAZN. Devin Haney is not signed to DAZN or Matchroom or Eddie Hearn. He's a free agent, meaning if Gervonta instructs Al Haymon to make the Devin Haney fight happen and negotiate with Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia is going to take all of the risk when it comes to the money and the guarantee. All they want is for the fight to happen in Saudi Arabia. As far as the network, the fight can happen on Amazon Prime pay-per-view, on PBC. PBC can have all of the rights for the fight. Put it this way, Saudi Arabia is just the investor. What do you think Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum are doing when they're doing business with Saudi Arabia? Bob Arum has an exclusive deal with ESPN. He can't break that agreement. So does Eddie Hearn with DAZN. He cannot break that agreement. But do you guys notice when they are doing business with Saudi Arabia, they are still televising their fights on their own networks. Eddie Hearn is televising his fights he's doing with Saudi Arabia on DAZN. Top Rank, Bob Arum, is televising his fights he's doing with Saudi Arabia on ESPN. Therefore, Al Haymon can do the same exact thing. He could get Saudi Arabia to invest and take the risk on the fight just to get to host the fight in Saudi Arabia. However, meanwhile, he gets to put the fight on his own network, his new network, Amazon Prime pay-per-view. That's a deal you cannot beat. You see, Saudi Arabia is investing in boxing because they have a vision called 2030 where they want tourists in Saudi Arabia. They don't necessarily care about the money. They have plenty of that. What they care about is tourists. Additionally, they want to be the face of boxing in terms of putting on the biggest fights that the fans want to see. If they want to, they could end up being the governing body since we missing that part with the top of money they willing to invest. Put it this way, Saudi Arabia invested over $100 million in guaranteed salaries for Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, a fight that only sold 65,000 on pay-per-view. They didn't care about the money they lost. All they care about is tourists. The proof is in the pudding. Just because they lost money on the fight, they didn't quit on investing in boxing. They made Fury versus Usyk after that. Even Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. They gave AJ $50 million guarantee for that fight, and Francis Ngannou $20 million guarantee for the AJ fight. So that's $70 million for a fight that's not top 10 in the sport of boxing. So you can just imagine how much guarantee money they willing to pay Gervonta and Devin Haney in order to fight in Saudi Arabia. Easily over $100 million guaranteed plus pay-per-view. Since this is without a doubt the biggest fight in boxing, like I said before, they invested over $70 million in AJ versus Francis Ngannou, a fight that is not top 10, one of the biggest fights in boxing today. Due to all of the above, Gervonta Davis is missing out on a whole lot of money if he doesn't fight Devin Haney and tell Al Haymon to make the Devin Haney fight. What does Gervonta Davis has to lose by negotiating with Devin Haney? What is he gonna lose? Especially when this fight is gonna end up on Amazon Prime pay-per-view on PBC owned network. Furthermore, I'm hearing that Al Haymon is having money issues with Amazon Prime deal. So if that's the case, why doesn't Al Haymon do a deal with Saudi Arabia, since Saudi Arabia wants the fights and Al Haymon has the fighters? If Al Haymon have a money problem, Saudi Arabia can solve that problem. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with PBC. Does Al Haymon have an obligation where he has to make these fights in the United States? And if so, why does he have that obligation? I mean, I know Al Haymon invests a lot of his fighters' money. So is this part of Al Haymon investments is hosting fights in the USA in order to keep his business flowing? However, if he's not hosting any fights because of money issues, he's better off making money off Saudi Arabia and hosting the fights there in the meantime, especially when Saudi Arabia is going to take all of the risk, just like they are doing today with DAZN and ESPN. PBC can do the exact same thing. Al Haymon has 80% of the fighters in boxing signed to his company. You can just imagine the type of fights he can make with the Saudi Arabia money. More importantly, if Gervonta is complaining about the money to the point where he's asking where the money on Twitter, and he's threatening Al that he may leave to fight on another network if the money is not right. Well, if it's that bad, then why hasn't Gervonta told Al Haymon to make the Devin Haney fight and talk to Saudi Arabia in order to negotiate a deal? With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Of the promoter, they doesn't want to do the strongest fight because it costs a lot. Some fighter doesn't want to do the strongest fight.
Yeah.
And there is 4 company, 4 belt.
So many problems.
So many problems, you know. As a fan, and Arturo and Bevel is
That's a good one.
as a fan. Maybe in some region doesn't have a lot of pay-per-view. I understand this thing. And this is why a lot of promoter doesn't take the risk. It will cost a lot, but we take the risk and we talk with them. Okay? And now it is only about the details because, you know, Arthur is brother. He's Muslim and he have Ramadan. And in Ramadan he cannot train a lot. You know, we need to give him space to be ready to this fight. But all the 2 of them, they're okay. And as I tell you in the conference and now, and we talk like a brother, I don't deal with them as only business. Before, the business is there as a brother and support them. And I want to see this fight. And the fans want to see this fight.
Everyone wants to see this.
And
fight.
you